Imagine two 25-year-olds both earning $55,000 per year. By 35, one has $180,000 in the bank. The other is still living paycheck to paycheck. The difference wasn't stocks, crypto, or grinding harder. It was 5 structural decisions most people never even notice. Here are the most powerful and most overlooked ways people in their 20s actually start building wealth. The first one most people never think about: using geographic arbitrage. Where you live massively affects how quickly you can build wealth. Two people earning the same salary can end up with completely different financial lives depending on where they live. Imagine someone earning $70,000 in a major city paying $2,500 a month in rent. Now imagine someone earning the same salary somewhere with $900 rent. That difference alone frees up nearly $19,200 a year. Invested at a boring 7% for 10 years, that gap compounds to roughly $265,000. One decision, zero extra work. And your 20s are the only decade you usually have the freedom to make that move. No mortgage, no kids in school, no deep roots tying you down. A single choice about location can accelerate wealth faster than almost any budgeting hack. But saving more only works if your income has room to grow. And that brings us to the second move, front-loading skill acquisition. Your 20s are not primarily about maximizing investment returns. They're about maximizing earning power. The difference between someone earning $45,000 and someone earning $90,000 over a decade is hundreds of thousands of dollars. Skills that fewer people have, technical skills, healthcare roles, engineering, specialized trades, data skills, tend to command much higher pay. So instead of asking, what job should I get? A better question is, what skill can I build that companies will compete to hire? Spending 1 or 2 focused years building a valuable skill can permanently change your income trajectory, and that matters far more than trying to pick the perfect stock. Now, before we go further, if you enjoy videos that explain how money actually works without the usual get-rich-quick nonsense, subscribe to Modern Money Explained, because understanding the system changes how you play the game. The third idea is something that quietly destroys wealth for millions: fixed cost traps. Most people think financial problems come from small spending, coffee, subscriptions, eating out, but the real damage usually comes from large fixed costs, expensive cars, luxury apartments, lifestyle upgrades that become permanent. They think the coffee and Netflix are killing them. Meanwhile, they sign a $700 car payment and a $1,800 apartment like it's normal. Housing and transportation alone make up about 50% of most household spending. So if your rent is $1,800 instead of $1,000, or your car payment is $700 instead of $200, you've already eliminated most of your potential savings before the month even begins. This is why many people earning decent salaries still feel financially stuck. Their fixed costs quietly grew faster than their wealth. In your 20s, avoiding those traps gives you something incredibly valuable: financial breathing room. But income and savings alone rarely create real wealth. The fourth move changes the game. Build ownership, not just income. A job pays you for your time. Ownership pays you even when you're not working. And that ownership doesn't have to start big. It could be a freelance skill that grows into a small agency, a niche service business, a digital product. One guy I know started selling simple Notion templates for $29 each. 2 years later, it's $4,000 a month on autopilot. Instead of only trading time for money, you begin building things that can produce income independently. Over time, one of those small projects can turn into something far more powerful. The final idea might be the most important. Use your 20s for asymmetric bets. An asymmetric bet is a decision where the downside is limited, but the upside is huge. Your 20s are the best decade to make those bets. Switching careers, moving cities, starting a business, building something that might fail. Because the cost of failure is lower now than it will ever be again. If something doesn't work at 24 or 26, you still have decades to recover. But if it works, it can completely change your trajectory. Many people who build real wealth didn't follow a perfectly safe path. They made a few bold decisions when they had the freedom to take risks. And those decisions paid off later. So if you take anything away from this video, let it be this: wealth in your 20s usually isn't built through perfect investing. It's built through structural advantages, living somewhere that lets you save aggressively, developing valuable skills early, avoiding lifestyle creep, fixed cost traps, owning things that produce income, and taking a few asymmetric risks while you still can. None of these ideas will make you rich overnight, but they quietly tilt the odds in your favor. And over time, that's what wealth really is. A series of decisions that make the math work for you instead of against you. If you found this useful, subscribe to Modern Money Explained, where we break down the systems behind money, markets, and wealth, so you can understand how the game actually works.